point out, and I talked about those 3 key junglers. There's a 4th that is now available, and Diamond has played it before, and I'm talking about Skarner, of course.
Now, Diamond ran Skarner in the spring split, and there was a story going around that it was around Valentine's Day, I remember, and it was to do with his wife, and she used to play Skarner online, etc., etc. Skarner has had changes. He's got a stun built into his passive. Deficio talked earlier about how some teams are scrimming with Skarner in the top lane. They're experimenting with him, and Diamond is one of the innovators. Was one of the innovators. All of last year, he introduced champions that set the trends in the jungle scene, but he has not been anywhere near as dominant this year. We need to see if this is the patch or this is the time for him to step back up.
So all the AD carries available, no Twitch ban this time around. Braum and Twisted Fate were the final 2 bans, so we'll see whether that takes away. Of course, Yasuo available, Jax is available as well. Selfie, big Yasuo player. Jax, will it be that key man that Mimer wants?
It's interesting if it does run in, with the changes to teleport having a longer cooldown and the fact that the lifesteal nerfs have reduced his sustain in lane thanks to the Doran's Blade, of course. I was expecting a little less Jax. I thought he may have fallen out of favor, and the fact that Renekton has been picked as well. If they get straight up lanes, Jax can be put in a very bad situation very early on. But there's SUPA are taking their time. Lucian is up, Elise is up, Lucian is available. There's a lot of priority picks that SUPA could go with, and it's just going to depend on whatever they feel will help them carry this game more.
Well, I mean, we should point out that this is really the first week for 4.10. There's only been a few amateur team matches before this, so the teams really haven't had a chance to build up, get a note of what all of the other teams are doing and what obviously themselves are looking towards. What works in solo queue does not always work in the LCS.
I agree, and you know, I do feel like we're hitting the 4.10 storyline quite a lot today, but it is because it's one of the biggest patches we've had in the last 2 to 3 months. There are so many unique changes to the fact of, you know, attack damage, lifesteal, the changes to Randian's Omen affecting the tanks on the front line. So all of the options you have available to you have been changed quite drastically. With the Jax first pick, it does open Gambit up to potentially shut him down with the likes of a Renekton. They could run Shyvana top lane if they wanted to do that, who can scale to a similar level, albeit more focused around team fights than necessarily dueling. But again, a very slow pick and ban phase for SUPA Crew and Gambit because there's so much available and there's so much unknown to deal with.
It doesn't look like we're going to see Dead Ash coming out from Genja. Instead, it will be Lucian and Elise locked in there. That leaves a potential Lucian opening from Impaler and, of course, Yasuo. As I mentioned for Selfie, he had an incredible result against Alliance last time he got to play this.
Yeah, and it's a champion that's been banned out against him very often. The only problem I'm seeing is there's not a lot of additional knockups to go with Yasuo, and interesting to see that SUPA Crew banned Braum out themselves. Braum plus Yasuo is a very scary combination. They can still, of course, run the likes of Thresh or Nami. KaSing, who was playing under the tag Yarrow last week in London, had a great Nami performance, so there could be additional knockups. What I do like about Yasuo, if he does get locked in, it also gives SUPA Crew the option to play the split push game. Leave Jax in one lane, leave Yasuo in the other, and Gambit have to try and piece together a collection of champions to shut down the split push opportunities.
Just 10 seconds left for the SUPA Crew to lock this, and their other choice in. Will it be a jungler? Will they focus on an AD carry or go for that support? Jarvan being the choice for the jungle, and this is a big problem already building for SUPA Crew. They are all AD melee champions right now.
To be fair, Jax does scale with some magic damage. He does become somewhat mixed, but you are correct, it is primarily magic focused. It is another source of knockup, not necessarily a traditional knockup, but Impaler over Lucian, over Skarner, is preferring Jarvan IV. He did play it last week in that very chaotic game against the Copenhagen Wolves, if memory serves. Had a weak early game, but definitely did very well as the game progressed and as time ticked on. The one thing that is a little difficult is, you know, Elise can get out of the Cataclysm. Lucian has the possibility to, how Thresh can pull people into it or pull himself out. So Impaler needs to be very on the ball when he's helping his team. But I do think Gambit have to find some way to deal with a split push. At the moment, they don't necessarily have the greatest duelists in the mid to late game. although Lucian and Renekton can do very well in the early laning phase.
Yeah, we just saw Jax versus Renekton in the previous matchup, of course. It was Wicked on Renekton. This time around it's going to be Darien, so that is locked in. And of course the Thresh Prince returns back on that champion alongside Lucian, the standard duo lane. Will we see something different coming out from KaSing here though, with Zilean currently being hovered over?
That's actually the second time we've seen teams hovering over Zilean today.
Well, Jay really likes to play it.
He does, but I don't know if this is a thing or if it's just a troll. Maybe I'm reading too much into it. But the Corki hover is also very smart. It would help supplement the missing magic damage that the Super Haku currently do not have, and it would round out their damage threat. But I do think if Super Haku want to play the split push game, having the likes of the wave clear from Zilean, as well as the revive for either Yasuo or Jax might be quite smart. Alternatively, I think a knock-up is the smart option. Nami, Gragas, it would synergize with both Jax as well as Yasuo. The movement speed that Nami would give your teammates allow them to chase, or the disengage power of Gragas would prevent a potential or mitigate a potential Orianna lock-in. It's one of those things where the ability to chase or run away is very powerful.
Okay, so they've got the two knockups in the team. Nami finally locked in alongside, of course, Jarvan can also knock them up. But Corki picked up something we haven't seen a great deal of in the European LCS, being predominant in the North American LCS over the last few weeks. Yeah,
definitely a pick that is featuring more and more, especially in these comps that have a lot of attack damage. And again, you know, KaSing, who is Yero, of course, got his hands on that very powerful engaged champion.
That works well.
Very quick lock-in for Nick, but the one thing that I think Nick needs to be very careful of is being kited around by Nami. Because Nick has gone for the Karthus lock-in, that's a fairly team fight-oriented comp. Renekton, Elise, Karthus, they want to get in your face. While Karthus will scale very well, there's not a lot of champions on Gambit's side that can deal with Jax or Yasuo in the late game. So for Gambit, this is a win early or mid-game, and if it runs late, I really feel like Super Haku have got a very good scaling map-oriented team composition.
Yeah, and with so far Eddie bringing Ignite instead of Exhaust, they're only going to have one Exhaust on that team with a Yasuo and Jax. And of course the Corki, one of them is going to be running free around that team. It's a dangerous game that Gambit are playing. We'll see whether the gamble works off for them.
Yeah, it is a risky play, but again, we've seen Nick, he's been focusing on Nidalee. It's been his primary go-to champion. With changes to Athenes, with changes to Nidalee obviously not being available, he's now defaulted to this Karthus. We haven't seen a lot of Karthus, and the few we have seen have been very uninspiring. So it's up to Nick to impress us.
Well, you've heard what we have to say. Which team comp do you guys think has the edge going into this match? Tweet at LOL Esports with the hashtag SHCWin or hashtag GMBWin. Of course, Super Haku or Gambit. We're going to check out those changes as the match gets underway and see how you have voted.
I think the early invades, like up to 2 minutes to determine lane matchups, might be very integral here for the Super Haku. If they do get themselves put into a 2v2 or a 1v1 setup, I think Mimer could be in a lot of trouble. Against a Renekton and an Elise, who could run him down, I do think it's very scary. So they've got to be a little careful about those head-to-heads.
Oh, we'll see how this one goes. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Game 3 about to get underway. Super Haku starting out as the blue team, facing off against Gambit, back in full effect as the red team. How will they react? And how will they step up? Currently sitting 7th in the league. This is an important win for them because Super Haku are one of the teams that they are chasing.
Yeah, especially because of the fact that Gambit, if they pick up that win, they would go to 5 and 8 and force Super Haku to a record of 6 and 7. It just closes that distance to make it into playoffs. The things that we need to be keeping our eyes on as this game progresses is how KaSing and Ed would itemize. Earlier today, we seen Thresh picking up a ancient coin. It was Yellow Star that actually rushed a Talisman of Ascension as his first item. And it's the first time I've seen Thresh not going for the likes of a Relic Shield, obviously because of the new patch. So we'll see which item build is more efficient.
We'll see whether we get some dancing as well, which we saw a few times. Looks like it's a standard setup for both these teams. Nobody going for an invade just yet. It's setting up the wards. We're going to see KaSing doing a little bit of dancing, a little bit of strutting.
One thing I also want to highlight is Genja is near the top half of the map. So this is one of those things where you always think to yourself, did Gambit anticipate a potential lane swap and then
in the bush, did it?
Swap themselves, or did they go the other direction? And I think Gambit do have vision of that Corki in the bottom river.
I think that was a failed ward. Yeah, it was. pretty sure that's a failed ward. Yeah, it was.
Yeah, not in...
Oh, no, it's still season.
It's
still season.
Yep.
It's all good.
It spotted MrRalleZ, so Gambit are going to be aware of the fact that MrRalleZ is near this bottom half of the map, and they have committed to the lane swap. So Dragon control should, in theory, be with the Super Hot crew, even though Diamondprox is running Elise, who is obviously fantastic at early game Dragons.
Well, as I mentioned earlier on, only that one exhaust picked up. Nick has that. We're going to see how it works out for him up against Selfie in that mid lane. He knew he was in against. And as you pointed out, Mimer is making a run for it. He's going for the buddy system. Eddie is continuing to follow on through here. Oh, I tell you what, we could have seen a single basic attack steal from Eddie there. Instead, it forces him away. And that has not been cleared out, that pit, so they're going to want to try and clear that one out. Super Hot crew, not sure if they meant to leave that.
No, I think Super Hot crew, they were afraid of a potential invade. They didn't really know if anyone
they're going straight for the blue steal.
So smart play, immediate counter. If you look at the numbers advantage, Gambit really can't challenge for this one. If Diamond or anybody moves forward, they're going to run into 3, potentially 4 members of the Super Hot crew. And that was a smart ward from Mimer to give as much information as possible.
So double blue for the Super Hot crew. Good start by them, and that's going to put Diamond behind because well, at least he could really do with that blue buff. Now he's going to get cleared out. They didn't clear out their own blue buff though. We'll see how that affects them. Of course, they're still going to have the timings because by the time they get back round there, they're looking to gank the bottom now.
Ironically, I think that delayed blue might benefit Super Hot crew because if Gambit go for any sort of invade, they're not going to have the timer. So you have highlighted the fact that 4 members of Super Hot crew in this bottom half of this map, and we need to see if Impaler is going to go for the tower dive. We have seen some strong tower dives with the flag and drag combo, but he needs to hit it. Also, here they come. Darien's in trouble.
Darien needed to be moving. Mimer's going to jump on him. Doesn't get the counter-strike. Nicely played from Darien. Flash burn, but he gets him away safe.
So what we touched on in picks and bans, the changes to Doran's Blade, reducing the life on hit because it's been changed to percentage life steal, means that champions like Jax no longer get that 5 HP back per auto attack. And you can see that Mimer started with a crystalline flask. And because Super Hot crew have the numbers advantage in the bottom lane, they force Darien away and his flash. This should be a safe Dragon. They may give up first blood because Selfie is being ganked on in this middle lane.
Yeah, Diamond and Eddie coming around towards him. He goes into the flay. Selfie trying to be confident, but the cocoon and the death sentence pulls him straight back out of there. He will go down. The tower hit. Oh, he got him! He got him. Return kill. So well played on Diamond. The tower hit working wonders.
Yeah, so I think there was kind of a slight misplay from Selfie. He could have maybe used that sweeping blade a little more efficiently. Regardless, the routes that he picked forced Gambit to go under the tower, and thanks to a couple auto attacks from those minions, he ends up trading 1 for 1. That is a very, very early Zeal. A kill on Selfie in comparison to the kill on Diamond, it means the gold is in the carry's hand, so it's much more beneficial for the Super Hot crew. And of course, they got that Dragon. Dragon was also, the gold value was ramped up in 4.10, so it is a more precious objective in this stage of the game. So good, strong start for the Super Hot crew.
Yeah, we should point out while that was all happening, Genja was all on his own at the top, yet he's actually behind in CS on MrRalleZ, who has just been back to buy. We'll see what he comes out with. It's going to be the Vampiric Scepter, so potentially, well, we'll see where he goes with this one. He is on Corki, which standard would be the Trinity Force go towards play the Rune King. Could be the flavor of the month. We're not sure how it's going to work out 4.10. We've already seen different builds coming out for 2 Lucians already today. Yeah,
we have. And the interesting possibility is that could be going the direction of that the Mana Essence Reaver, because it is a pickaxe and a Vamp Scepter, but I'm not going to get too excited about that because I think it would delay the damage spike that MrRalleZ would be looking for, especially if Genja goes for Blade of the Ruined King. Regardless, lanes have now settled. It is going to be the 1v1 of Mimer and Darien in that bottom lane, and Darien has no flash. So if Impaler wanted to set a gank up, he could be looking to apply pressure, and I think small advantage here to KaSing in terms of the support v support battle.
We're just having a lash back and forward, of course. Eddie would have had more hit points due to the itemization he has over KaSing. He's also a level ahead as well. Got that assist in there. We'll see how that works out between the two.
Impaler was definitely there. He wants to go for it.
He's going to go around the side. Oh, he misses. Straight on towards there. Genja just slides in way out of there. Safe. He didn't take the Lantern, and Diamond, well, he's going to look to try and counter, but he's going to walk straight past that.
Yeah, so full vision for Super Hot crew. We do see the red buff there on Impaler doing a little bit of work against Edward and Genja, and he's still sticking around. So we are in a potential 3-on-3 situation. Take a quick look at summoner spells. Heal is available for Genja, but heal and exhaust on the side of MrRalleZ and KaSing, and they're going in on Edward.
Play again, Eddie on KaSing this time. They're going to try and focus him. They turn on to Diamond. Diamond tries to get away. A lot of damage back and forth, but Diamond's the one that's going low. MrRalleZ comes in, picks that one up. Genja tries to turn it around, but cannot react. And it is Super Hot Crew coming out on top.
Now, I'm pretty sure I've seen teleports icons going down, and it looks like both Mimer and Darien either cancelled it or interrupted it. What was it?
They'd already used it to go back to lane.
Back to lane.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. Oh, the stun! Counter-strike though on Darien. Can Mimer turn some damage back around? Darien is the man coming out on top in this one, and he will clear out that wave. Genja desperately trying to keep this farm away from the tower.
I'm double-checking the replay to see what on earth that animation was. Oh, it was Requiem! Right! So, ladies and gentlemen, here's me showing off that I haven't seen new Karthus from spectator mode. And the animation that we seen was Nick channeling the Requiem, so he didn't manage to give an assist. I do want to highlight that Nick has gone with a Tear of the Goddess as his first item, and considering MrRalleZ is hooked.
MrRalleZ hooked in there. Can Genja get the kill down? And if Valkyrie gets away, he's going to dash in, flashes for it instead. Can he get KaSing now? One more hit. You can see Eddie, caught out nicely with the Aqua Prism. That will get him to safety.
So MrRalleZ sticking around a little longer than he should have, ends up being punished. Good play from Edward. We talked about the Thresh Prince. He lands a good death sentence. The point I was trying to make about Nick on the Tear of the Goddess, he's got a team composition built around him that should, in theory, be outscaled. You know, Renekton's going to have trouble with Jax. Lucian can obviously do well against MrRalleZ as the game goes later. But because he's gone for a Tear, it means Nick's power spike is going to take longer to hit that scary Requiem stage. So we'll need to keep our eyes on how effectively he can find those kills, because the first Requiem was definitely not a success.
Speaking of scary, both junglers having to come down towards his bottom lane. Darien takes a tower hit. Could have done without that one, but we're going to see Impaler's coming in as well. Can he dunk on towards Darien just off of the side? Here comes Diamond around the side. They have the minion wave with them now. The Skittering Spider goes in there. Will not explode and catch anyone out. Impaler running defensive duties and working well.
Yeah, and Mimer is being punished by this Renekton. Not super hard. He's 15 CS down, so Darien's doing a decent job. But Darien's invested into 3 Dorans, 2 shields, 2 blades and a shield, whereas Mimer's got that Vamp Scepter. So in terms of, you know, scaling itemization goal, Mimer's going to be in a slightly better position once he gets that CS, once he gets those items upgraded. We'll obviously be working towards that Blade of the Ruined King. And Mimer still hasn't backed. He's really sticking around for a long time in this lane.
Yeah, Darien happy to take yet another tower hit. Mimer trying to draw this one in just above them in the tri-bush. You can see the pink ward war is going on between Impaler and Diamond. They're poking back and forward. They've managed to hold them at bay. Dragon is up in a minute's time here. Impaler caught out with the cocoon. They may try and push onto this one. Instead, they're just going to force him away. They'll clear the pink.
Yeah, so pink ward cleared out. Diamond's still trying to apply more focus to shut down Mimer. And neither lane has decided to move around. Remember that Dragon will be up in 50 seconds. So Super Hot Crew got the first Dragon from a very strong play, forcing Darien out of lane. They have the timer. They may want to do something similar. But if you look at builds, this is the really interesting story that Genja has opted to go for a pickaxe as well as a longsword. So we need to see what he decides to upgrade those into. It could be Infinity Edge and Vamp Scepter, if that's the goal he wants to go to. But that might be a very long, might take a very long time in terms of power spike. So we just need to keep a very close eye on that. And again, Nick, with the scaling items, he's picked up a Catalyst to protect us. So Rod of the Ages on the cards. Nick is going late game. The rest of his team comp is a little more early game. So going to be scary once these team fights start to break out.
Still very even between these teams. It is the top lane that has the advantage for Genja, currently in CS, got the 20 CS gap over the bottom lane. Pairing again, Mimer and Darien looking to go at it. Both junglers going to try and join the fray as well. You can see Dominus is available for Darien. We'll see whether he chooses to engage.
And Requiem's up.
Big minion wave in there. Doesn't get caught out by Counter-Strike this time around. And straight away, Impaler goes in. They're going to turn straight on towards him. Diamond actually caught out. Darien tries to slide out of there. There's the Requiem from Nick. That finishes the job. That's exactly what they wanted on that mid lane.
Very well executed. Mimer was too low to stick around. And thanks to that Giant's Belt worth of hit points, Darien's able to survive all of the damage that the Super Hot Crew put down. And we touched on how easy it is for Renektons to get out of Cataclysm. He slices, he dices, he makes it a safety, and it allows Gambit to get control over the Dragon Pit. It doesn't look like Impaler's going to get here in time, and this is going to be a risky steal for anyone from Super Hot Crew, and it doesn't even look like they're going to. They've got no vision of the area, so safely secured objective for Gambit.
Yeah, you can see Selfie trying to punish that mid lane, but he didn't really get any hits on towards that turret either. So Gambit steal themselves little advantage over Super Hot Crew here, and that puts them, of course, just over 1,000 gold ahead. Top lane again, 89 to 67 CS between those two. MrRalleZ is being punished, but it's kind of what we expect from a Lucian.
Yeah, it is in the laning phase, and of course, you know, Corki can, in theory, do well against Lucians. We do see Impaler coming behind, but that is a ward.
Good ward.
So he needed to go much quicker, and he didn't have Cataclysm.
Yeah,
it just means Gambit can get out.
So this is something we talked about. Obviously, it was, what, 2 weeks ago that Jarvan suddenly appeared back on the scene in the Europeans, and they weren't caught, they weren't ready for it. Svenskeren was the man that started all that. Of course, sliding into them tri-bushes, coming around the back. Of course, that was 2 weeks ago. Everybody is well aware of what Jarvan can do again, and they're warding him out.
Yeah, it's something that you always have to be very diligent of. The thing is, there are those windows where if you time it correctly, you could be in trouble. It's a lot of early damage onto KaSing, and thanks to the pickaxe and longsword, it also means all of the early trading for Genja and Edward should go in their favor. They do have a lot more attack damage to play with. MrRalleZ has just got that Vamp Scepter and the makings of Phage, and here comes Impaler. He's looking for a gank with the Cataclysm.
Oh, great hook on towards KaSing there, but he draws him straight in. Eddie's not getting out of this one. The shield goes down. He's still surviving. MrRalleZ will finish that one off. Impaler's actually getting focused on by Genja. Not sure about that targeting there, but the Super Hot Crew get themselves another hit. Now Nick's going to get dived on. The ulti comes out from Selfie, but 0 damage really done there.
Exhaust from Nick was so well timed. The moment Selfie committed to his last breath, that was an instant exhaust. It saves Nick for this moment in time, but it means the next time Selfie manages to catch Nick out of position, he may be able to get the kill. 3 members of Super Hot Crew still defending his tower.
Dangerous play if the Super Hot Crew. That Requiem will be available in a couple of seconds' time. You can see that's why they're keeping the pressure on, keeping the Super Hot Crew here low on hit points. They're going to have to back away. They're all stepping out of this one. The moment that mini wave comes back in, Gambit, you can see Ed Diamond trying to keep them here, trying to keep them at the tower, trying to grab himself a kill. They're going to keep on pushing. They may well get this tower this time around.
With the Rod of Ages completed for Nick, his Requiem's currently doing 320 damage before mitigation, and it is available. Super Hot Crew make it away from that top lane tower, and they are falling behind in CS in all of their lanes except mid. Darien's doing a good job against Mimer, and the duos against Super Hot Crew, and they're going to dive into Selfie again.
Selfie hasn't got his ultimate available this time around. He comes in, gets flayed out there, gets hooked straight in as well. Great death sentence from Eddie. This time around, it's Diamond that gets the kill.
Good positioning by Gambit, but I have to question the sweeping blade through Diamondprox. I'm not quite sure why Selfie was going into the middle of the lane. Regardless, he gets caught down. Another kill for Gambit, and Super Hot Crew trying to defend this tower. They've jumped onto Impaler.
They've given the tower. Can they get on towards him? Cataclysm used. He tries to flash out of there. Nick putting the damage down. Will he get away from it? No, he will not. Diamond sinks in the fangs.
Yeah, manages to get the kill. Not only does he get the kill, that's a flash from Impaler burned as well. Mimer, he's going to jump in, but may not be able to save the tower. The rest of Gambit got it down.
Tower goes down. Death sentence thrown out again, and Edward is all over this game right now. Gambit get themselves another and another turret.
It is all about the Thresh players today. They are landing hook after hook, and Edward 0-1-5. He's been involved in 90% of his team's kills. What I really like about Gambit is they are making aggressive plays with their champions that can do better in the early stages of the game. MrRalleZ, that's a big chunk of damage from Darien.
Yeah, he just really want to get involved in this one. He has got a good portion of that Trinity Force built up, MrRalleZ, but he's got to be careful. Genja's coming around the side. He went past that pink ward, but I don't think he's going to engage on this one. The Super Hot Crew now going to try and move on the bot lane.
Yeah, and we see the itemization from Genja. He is going towards that Infinity Edge plus Vamp Scepter. And I think he's gotten away with the pickaxe and longsword first because MrRalleZ opened with the Vamp Scepter. So, you know, in terms of burst damage, Genja had higher bonus AD to work with, and the double shot from his passive was just working in his favor. So Gambit, 5,000 gold ahead, 4,000 gold ahead rather. And again, look at the burst into KaSing. He just can't take those trades with Genja. He's falling far too low on HP.
And of course, with every time there's a Karthus playing, they have to be so cautious, so alert of the fact that if they get taken low on hit points, it could be the death of them from that ultimate. At the moment, Genja's getting some good revenge hits from MrRalleZ there. Still very close between the two. Eddie's going deep on this one. Oh, misses the death sentence this time around. It's a good wave. There's going to be the Requiem. That's one going down at the side there. Now Impaler's taking low. Teleport comes in. Impaler does get himself the kill on Genja, but Eddie comes in and cleans that one up. Mimer teleports in. Darien is in there as well. It's KaSing they should be focusing on. Instead, they're trying to keep Mimer away from him. Darien may be able to go 2-on-1 here. He's got Diamond about to join him, and their Super Hot Crew are backing out.
They end up trading 2 for 2, but a very good teleport from Mimer brings him into the action. Even though the the kills and the total gold traded that way sort of evens out. Gambit get themselves another tower from the deal. He's even denying minions from the bottom wave. Take a look at how Nick was roaming. He is moving into the bottom lane. He may find himself against Selfie. So a very good play from Gambit once again. Taking complete charge. Look at Darien. He's just full of swag. Diving under 3 and not even worried about it.
He's got a 45 CS advantage built up over Mimer. He's absolutely bossing that lane right now. He's going to push all the minions in there, and Impaler's going to have to come down here. That wave was cleared out by MrRalleZ Nick meantime. He's going to go back. He's had that tier stacking up, got the Rod of Ages in there, as you mentioned, the late game build for Nick, and it's working out so far. 2-0-5 Kassadin. This is a problem, Karthus. This is a problem for Super Hot Crew late on.
Now, you know, we did say those items scale and they take time, but when you've got 2 kills, 5 assists, a dragon, and 3 towers before the 20-minute mark, Rod of Ages completed, Archangel Staff completed, that's busy leveling up or ramping up in terms of mana. Nick has accelerated his build at a very good rate. Now, Dragon, it's the 3rd one of the game. It looks like Impaler wants to sniff at it, but it's risky. He's decided to back away.
Yeah, so Gambit take themselves a second. It does leave their top tower exposed to Mimer, though, who is just going to let the minions do the damage on it rather than push it too hard. Instead, he's going to get himself a farm. He's got the Play the Rune King now completed, but as you mentioned, he has fell quite far behind Darien. Nick is making his way in towards his top lane.
Yeah, so Nick's got very good wave clear. He's got no tower to fall back to in that middle lane, and it's pushing because of the fact that he's managed to get that one down. And see how much damage he can put on Mimer. There's a 2-level advantage. Keep that in mind. And exhaust available.
Oh, they're going to catch him out. Mimer's not going to be able to get away from this one. Counter-strike dodged out. That was a simple cleanup by Gambit. And the tower was saved. Mid-tower now being pressured.
Easy peasy lemon squeezy for Gambit. Okay, continue to extend that gold lead. They defend another outer turret. And Super Hot Crew, their split pushing has been delayed. This is Impaler dead.
Impaler getting caught out of position, tries to flag and drag away from this one. You can't repel the red
so far away.
But doesn't matter. Darien's just going to come around the side there. He's not going to be able to escape this one unless he pulls off something incredible.
What can the rest of the team do, though? They may have get access to this bottom lane turret. You can see Selfie already starting the split push. Impaler's going to run into Genja. Let's see if the prediction comes true.
Well, Cataclysm's on towards him. Slides on through there, but Genja tries to follow. And the rest of his team, as you mentioned, are there. And Impaler's free.
Super cheeky from Impaler. I did not expect him to get away from behind enemy lines. And even though Selfie was pushing this bottom lane, he doesn't necessarily have the attack damage to get the tower taken out. So he's going to push the wave up, extend his CS, and notice Jack's top lane, Yasuo bottom lane. Super Hot Crew have recognized they don't want team fights because they're behind in gold, and their opponents have got a power level spike that is higher than theirs, but they can play the split push game. And if you can force Gambit into skirmishes, then Super Hot Crew can turn the tides with some of their very good dueling champions.
So top tower goes down, Super Hot Crew get themselves another outer. Darien actually going aggressive on Selfie here, keeping the pressure on. He is feeling very confident right now, and that's dangerous play. Once Darien starts doing well, the rest of Gambit will easily follow.
Yeah, that's the truth. And if Darien is doing well, that he can pull the resources of Super Hot Crew to shut him down, it allows the rest of the team to make plays. You've got Nick, before 20 minutes, has got that Rod of Ages on its way. It's about 70% stacked, and Seraph's Embrace has been upgraded. Now we'll see if Darien can get away. There's 2 of them on it.
Oh, Selfie going to lose everything he's got. I'm not sure if they can get away from this one. Darien has got that dominance running again. He gets knocked up. Selfie will catch him just under the turret, but it took 2 of them to take him down for a long period of time there.
There's a lot of armor on Darien. He also got a big chunk of HP from that dominance. So it did take a while, but they got the kill. And what's very important is it has once again allowed Selfie to continue split pushing. Mimer is CSing. He's still a big chunk down behind Darien, but he's doing well. And Cataclysm's up for Impaler if they want to go in.
Good cocoon catching on Impaler there. The turret not doing what it needs to. And Diamond now in trouble. He's going to try and come around on towards him. Aqua Prism does not land. Diamond tries to get away. Flashes out of the Cataclysm. And now he's so free. Can he get on towards Impaler? They're going to try and turn this one around. Eddie's going to join them alongside Nick. Cocoon goes thrown out. Catches on Impaler. Death Sentence flung out. And Eddie lands it once again. You can see the Aqua Prism come through there. Gambit's going to try and follow through. KaSing going to get caught out. Flashes out of the cocoon. He's still running for his life. He's slowed down right now. Don't think Diamond can catch anymore.
No, not this time round. Gambit once again with a great reply. Super Hot Crew do secure the tower though, so losing Impaler for the tower is probably a trade they'll be relatively happy with. Impaler's got a lot of death to his name, so he's also going to be worth less net gold as he continues to be the sacrificial lamb for his team's plays. And if you look at some of the items that are being completed, Selfie's now working his way towards Infinity Edge. Phage has been completed for Mimer. You've got the makings of that Bilgewater Cutlass and potential eventual Blade of the Rune King for MrRalleZ. So Super Hot Crew are continuing to scale. And a cheeky race steal there from MrRalleZ. And this is now where Gambit needs to be very assertive in how they get the inner turrets. They've done a great job of getting control of the outer lanes. And they've been trying to deal with the split push. I guess they've at least countered the previous push once Super Hot Crew got the tower. But now it's up to Gambit to force Super Hot Crew's hand and break through that inner line.
We'll see how it works out for them. Currently have that 4,000 gold lead. Dragon up in over a minute and a half. Of course, Gambit are all about securing those dragons as well. Something that they do so well. Even last week when they were using the solo queue, it was something they focused on, kept them in the goal. They're not going to catch on throws out the lantern, but nobody's there to pick it up. He's trying to bait it out. No one's there, but smart enough to at least prevent the ward. You've seen the sweeping lanes going down from KaSing. Itemization update. Oh, they've caught MrRalleZ. Oh, Diamond's going to push on towards this one. I don't think it is. MrRalleZ is in trouble, and Diamond's taking him down. Another death sentence comes in. KaSing catches that one. Darien teleports in there. There's the Requiem coming out. That's going to blow KaSing up. MrRalleZ was taken out of that one. He has to back away. Now Mimer getting focused on. He gets taken so low. Jumps away. Leaves strike enough. Selfie catching on towards Diamond. Gets one. Gets on towards Eddie. But straight away another death sentence comes out. Genja gets focused on. But he's going to turn that back around. Impaler taken so low. Everybody so low. Nick finally joining this party. The calling coming out from Genja. Can they chase on towards this one? Selfie's just over the side there. Genja gets the dash, gets the double tap, but he hasn't got enough to catch on towards him. Nick's going to chase this one down the river.
That ends up being a 2-for-1. It's not over yet as Selfie's continuing to run, but his movement speed with static shift should be enough. That was such a good re-engage from Selfie, getting himself a double kill, I think, during the course of the fight. Very good knock-up onto both Genja and Edward. Gets the last breath down. And those are the team fights that Super Hot Crew are looking for. If you can have Gambit split up and not concentrated as a 5-man unit, Jax and Yasuo can just melt through targets. Fortunately, Super Hot Crew now will be losing the Dragon because they put so much emphasis on that team fight. I don't think they're going to engage in a 2-5.
Yeah, that's the Dragon once again. Second of the game for Gambit. Third of the game, sorry, for Gambit. 5-0-5 for Nick, but more importantly, look at Eddie. He's going for the Runyon Omen this early on.
Yeah, very, very early. It's something that we keep looking at in these support changes on this patch. No Mikhail's Crucible for Thresh. We've seen Threshers go for Talisman of Ascension earlier, and now going to go for that Engage Power and the movement speed reduction of the Randians. But it will take Edward just a little while longer. Gambit, full invade. With the exception of Diamond, they're just going to bully the crew completely out of their own jungle.
That's the blue buff going across the Gambit. It's going to be, looks like...
Nick got it.
Nick that's going to get it, so that's going to just top off his own. Oh, they're going straight Baron.
So with Karthus, you can melt through Baron thanks to single target damage, and they know Selfie's not there. The rest of Super Crew are around. Look for a tidal wave to mitigate, interrupt, and here comes Impaler from the side.
Yeah, the scrying orb from MrRalleZ gave that straight away. Does mean they all pull back in there. The death sentence's thrown out from Eddie this time. Does not find the target on Mimer, and I think that means Gambit will peel away from this one. Can Super Hot Crew use that minion wave in the mid to take the tower?
Yes, they can. KaSing with a decent tidal wave, even though it's not going to be available for a team fight, it was enough to split Gambit off the objective and force them away. And because Gambit hesitated or were unable to catch members of Super Hot Crew, Crew grabbed themselves their 4th tower of the game, and they've got a minion wave on the bottom half of the map, thanks to Selfie pushing it up before the whole Baron play. So a little bit of a miscall or a misplay from Gambit is going to cost them some damage on that bottom turret. And look at the vision, though, from Gambit. Like, they've got such deep vision. At any time a Super Hot Crew come up to challenge, they've got such good jungle information to work with.
And you know, we talked about at the start of the game how it's a very AD-focused champion. I'll talk back to that in a minute. Selfie's going to get caught out, goes on towards Nick there. Exhaust goes straight down him. He wasn't expecting Genja to be with him. Will anyone dash across? They're going to take the white instead. Selfie is still out of position. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, actually, it's going to be MrRalleZ they're going to get focused on. Requiem comes out. Will it get blasted? MrRalleZ not quite taken low enough. Still nobody going down. Selfie back in the top lane. Darien pushing towards him. Darien's going to keep on focus. I'm not sure if he's had enough hits on him. I think the tower's going to get it. Oh! Nick managed to get the last hit in the end. and Gambit to get themselves another kill.
6-0-5. The rest of SUPA crew prevent Gambit from pushing the middle lane until now, where Selfie was able to pull the rest of the team back. So we do see that Randuin's Omen completed for Edward. Genja's had that chain burst for a while because of the physical damage threat from the Super Hot crew. Impaler left to defend this wave alone, and his wave play is simply not strong enough. Gambit, with a very good play, maintain map control, maintain the gold lead, and they even have the tower secured.
So, big advantages starting to grow by Gambit. This game's definitely loosening up a bit. You can see, obviously, the fact we had 2 skirmishes at the bottom half of the map and the mid lane. Super Hot crew, of course, if they can get MrRalleZ on there, get his armor shred going, and everybody piles in, they will do a lot of damage, regardless of how much armor gets built up. Well, I say regardless, if there's a lot of armor, it could be a big problem, but nevertheless, Gambit have to be careful they don't get caught out, clumped up, and everybody from Super Hot crew jumps on them.
And you can notice KaSing is working himself towards that Mikhail's Crucible. When you look at Gambit's comp, what they can do very well is if they surprise somebody with a Wall of Pain, with a Death Sentence or a Cocoon, you can have Renekton, Elise, Lucian jump onto a target and burst him down fairly quickly. And assuming that Gambit can do that, their team fight should be very effective. And they just need to avoid, you know, a multi-man stun from Jax or a multi-man ultimate from Yasuo. So in that situation, if KaSing can get that Crucible up and save a target, get him out of the Cocoon, or, you know, give him a big heal to survive a Requiem, maybe SUPA crew can do better in these team fights. But as it stands, you just feel like Gambit are doing slightly better big picture fights when they catch SUPA crew out of position.
Selfie got himself a clear minion wave in this bottom half, and nobody's really there to react to it. Genja has finally just gone back. He had 2,700 gold in him, went straight for the Blade of the Rune King, only had the Vampiric Scepter there before. Something Genja actually does a lot. Just sits on massive amounts of gold, which sometimes can be at the detriment, of course, because they could be going into those team fights without those items. As it is, now he has it. He has himself the gold advantage, and I'm not sure about item advantage still over MrRalleZ, because he's got that Triforce and Blade of the Rune King, but will be very strong in the next fight. Yeah,
if Genja just gets multiple auto attacks off, he will do more damage than MrRalleZ. But as long as MrRalleZ is threading in those spell casts in between his auto attacks, he can do a good job. The one thing I want to note is Selfie's done a good job at controlling the tempo of Gambit. Every time he's pushed them up to the inner turret on that bottom lane, Gambit have been forced to respond, but because SUPA Hot crew's warding and vision has been subpar for a split pushing team, it means Selfie can't stick around. He had a siege minion to get on that tower, and he didn't land auto attacks because he had no information in Gambit's jungle to work with. And Gambit, again, they're trying to force SUPA Hot crew's hands. They don't want to play the split push game, and they're trying to make team fights happen.
Tiamat picked up by Darien. We'll see if that includes into the Ravenous Hydra. He feels maybe that Sunfire Cape early on was possibly enough. Of course, he can keep up the split push ability that Mimer and Selfie will have. Gambit currently grouping up. Look up the bottom lane. You can see Mimer. He's got teleport available, but he's off on his own right now. And Gambit looking to try and steal an advantage and push for this inhibitor.
Yeah, SUPA crew are out of position. They're going to be here late, but so is the minion wave. So it looks like Impaler as well as Selfie should get here just in time. No death sentence this time round, and the wave clip from SUPA crew is enough, but that's, you know, 20% of the tower HP lost.
Darien either uses the teleport or loses that inner turret. The inner turret will go down. Mimer on that one, and of course with the Triforce and Bloodthirst, Blade of the Rune King of his own will hit those towers hard. Looking at Selfie also, he's completed the Infinity Edge along with the Blade of the Rune King and Static Shift now. Lots of damage from the SUPA crew starting to stack up in a crew.
That is massive for the SUPA crew. Not only do they defend their inhibitor turret, they gain an inner turret, and they get Darien's teleport. 240-second cooldown on that summoner spell, and better positioning means SUPA crew have started Dragon. The rest of the team are on Baron. Have Mimer and Impaler peeled away? They haven't yet. This is going quickly for Gambit.
This is going to go very quickly, of course, with the Karthus in there, one of the quickest to help take down that Baron. Sorry, the Dragon is going to go down. Mimer gets on towards that one. Now Selfie going to get focused on. The Baron picked up by Gambit, and they back away. Not sure about that trade.
No, hashtag not worth. Baron buff on Gambit, when you consider their team is already a little weak at this stage, should give them the siege potential I think that they're looking for. And just, again, a misplay. Earlier, Gambit tried to force Baron. It ended up costing them the inner turret. This time around, SUPA Hot crew made the call to go for Dragon, the arguably safer objective that was available, and it ends up costing them Baron. You can't discount the fact that Karthus destroys Baron so quickly. The double damage on his layways to solo single targets is just massive. and it means Gambit continue to maintain control of this game, but it is ever so balanced. You know, it's so fine. It could tilt in favor of Super Hot Crew.
We'll see how it works out for them. Gambit again pushing straight in that mid lane. I'm going very aggressive, trying to catch somebody out there, trying to bully them away from the minion line. They're going to go all straight down this mid. Mimer a little out of position. Gambit see him actually, they've pinged on towards him, so they know that he's off on the left-hand side, which means they know they're in a 4v5 situation here if they put pressure on this mid lane. Mimer's either going to have to back off or keep split pushing. He's going to choose the latter and keep on pushing that top lane.
Yeah, Mimer does still have his teleport. From the previous trade, he hasn't used it. He's also overtaken Darien as far as CS is concerned. So he's starting to scale. With a chain vest on both Mimer, Impaler, and Selfie, they can fend off the damage of Darien and Genja. But you can see Gambit, they don't have a tower dive team, and Genja's just being Genja. He's going to go split push.
I don't know. I just don't know what he's doing. Instead, Lantern being used by Eddie to keep him safe. Mimer is going to back off. Genja's just basically said, you know what, guys, there's a wave on the bottom. I'm having that. I don't care about this mid. And forget Baron. We don't need this.
I would argue it's not a terrible call because of the fact if Gambit had tried to siege up under that turret and got caught by a tidal wave, even in a 4v5 situation, tidal wave into last breath is enough time for a teleport from Mimer to arrive. And all of a sudden, you've lost, 30-40% of your hit points, and Jax is here to clean up. So probably the safer option, but this is the most difficult thing. How does Gambit siege when you can theoretically tower dive with Renekton and Elise, but I don't think they want to. Their comp is not focused around that. It's not built for that type of strategy.
Whether Mimer wanted to stick around and fancy a go at Genja instead. He has. He's cancelled the teleport. He's cancelled the back. He's going to stay. He's going to clear that wave out. And we'll see whether Genja decides to try and take this one. It'll be a risky battle for him, that's 100% sure.
Yeah, it really will. Selfie's once again trying to split push himself. He was moving up towards the top half. Gambit have done such a good job of vision this game. You can see all of the wards in the mid lane will prevent them being flanked. And if Genja can find Mimer, this is 1v2. Mimer's in full retreat mode. Does have teleport, does have flash. Should be able to get away.
He's clean free, unless they go for it. Nick pulled out of that Cataclysm being used by Impaler. Now they're going to try and collapse. Look at it. Everybody going down towards this bottom lane. They want to get Mimer. Super Hot Crew reacting. They're rushing straight in the mid.
Oh, he manages to sidestep the cocoon. There's no Cataclysm. There's no tidal wave for Super Hot Crew. They are split up as well. This team fight could go pear-shaped very quickly if they are out of position.
Oh, that was a good Aqua Prison. Super Hot Crew choosing to sidestep. They're going to go up towards the top. They could get themselves its inner turret, but Gambit are responding. They're going to try and rush straight down the mid.
Yeah, I think this is the smart call from Super Hot Crew. They've left Selfie to wave clear, but Mimer needs to back away sooner. Yes, he does have teleport, but you don't want to waste that summoner spell just to defend the tower. Selfie's also not pushed that inner turret. So it does look like Gambit are going to get a very big chunk of gold. Teleport being used, that was a decision from Super Hot Crew.
Yeah, Mimer coming in. Death Sensor's landed, and Cocoon comes on towards him. KaSing taking all of the culling damage as well. Good reactions from both these teams. That was such a crucial, pivotal moment. Of course, that means Mimer's teleport is now down, and Darien's is available.
Yeah, so we'll see who can maintain control of the map. Gambit, with better positioning and with a sort of effective HP bonus or higher value, they're playing a lot more confidently. They didn't push the tower as aggressively earlier on, but they should be aware Tidal Wave will be up soon. It is actually just available, so that should be the trigger to back off. As long as Tidal Wave is not there, it means Gambit need to back away. And something I want to highlight, there are 3 Blades of the Ruined King on the side of Super Hot Crew, so anybody that's stacking up HP, Edward's got high hit points, Darien's got high hit points, he should be, just melted down. 80% of current health per auto attack is going to be very, very quick to melt through those high hit point targets.
Oh, they're going to try and come across and engage on towards this blue buff. Instead, they want to turn it around. Cocoon lands on Mimer. Aqua Prison on Darien, though. He pops that dominance instantly. They try and focus on towards Mimer. There's going to be the wave coming out. KaSing's going to try and focus on Selfie. Jumps in there and jumps straight out again. Nick all over him. He doesn't want to get involved anymore. He's going to get taken down. Selfie tries to go in towards him. He gets himself the kill and the shutdown bonus, but he gets cleared out. Impaler jumps in. Cataclysm and flashes out. Requiem comes out. Mimer not going to take it so low, but he gets away. The bubble and the heal from KaSing just about survives. And Gambit going just 1 for 1. They're going to try and push on. They may get this turret.
That is such a good bubble from KaSing, managing to prevent the rest of Gambit getting onto Mimer. That was a sloppy team fight for the Super Hot Crew. They were split up, they were spread out, and they managed to get away with their lives. Take a look at how they come in drips and drabs. MrRalleZ isn't even with the team. I do want to highlight that Selfie gets a great last breath off onto both Genja and Nick. Unfortunately for him, Nick instantly exhausts him, so all of that damage goes down. And the burst from this Requiem, look at Mimer and KaSing's HP on the left-hand side of your screen. That's like half HP and just below. So close. Wait for it, the double bubble. Incoming, it knocks up both Genja, I think, and Edward, Diamond rather. Such a good bubble from KaSing. He did the same thing last week on his Nami. Very good play, and I think a little unfortunate Gambit didn't get more from that.
Dragging up and Gambit moving in. Super Hot Crew should take it very quickly though. I don't think we're going to see him. Diamond getting in close enough. There it goes. Smited away. Impaler takes that one and quick disengage. Diamond going to look to try and force someone to flash away from this one. Instead they can all drag themselves away. Selfie of course used to flash in the last time around. But Gambit of course have big positional advantage now with Baron spawning in 26 seconds.
So you see how difficult it was for Gambit to win a team fight, even though they had sort of a 4v3 numbers advantage at the beginning of the fight. Because it's so hard for them to burst people down, like Mimer who can get a lot of stats, like Jarvan who's got a shield, they need to force Super Hot Crew's hand. In a straight up 5v5, at this stage in the game, Super Hot Crew have now gotten over that weak point. Jax, Yasuo, Corki are very scary with their item builds, and Gambit are looking to find picks, and they've got Impaler.
Oh, good dead sentence coming out from Eddie once again. The wave will get thrown through, but Impaler's taken so low, but he gets away alive. Cocoon lands on towards Mimer. The rest of the team claps in towards him. He leaps strike away. Super Hot Crew, they have to back away from this fight. It's a good win wall from Selfie and bounces the rest of Gambit, but they're going to keep on chasing this one. Super Hot Crew and backup duty and gain. Another fantastic acquisition from KaSing lands on Diamond.
Manages to save his life. We did see a knock-up on both Nick and Genja, but because Super Hot Crew are in retreat, they opted not to go for it. Keep tabs on the fact that Guardian Angel is finished for Selfie, so if he goes into a fight, he can come back again, as is Genja. They're looking to re-engage. This is going to be scary.
This is going to be an important death sentence from Eddie, I feel, if they can land it on towards Impaler, who goes off the
so close.
Very close. KaSing, a Karthus going to get dodged out of. Meanwhile, Super Hot Crew trying to push the middle of the Cologne coming out. Not quite catching on KaSing, then Impaler getting out of this one. Darien might be able to slice on towards them this time around. Instead, they are playing very passively. Gambit are very unsure about their team fight ability right now.
Yeah, and Super Hot Crew are just dancing around danger. They got so close to being caught out, and a few skill shots, if they had landed, would have cost them their lives. KaSing was forced to flash away from the Cocoon, and Gambit was still playing the bait game. That's a good Demacian standard from Impaler, and it looks like Diamond is so badly chasing a kill. Super Hot Crew are so split. Look at that. They're like all across Gambit's jungle. They're just trying to delay and deny the Baron play.
Diamond using the ward to try and quickly repel himself a little bit closer to the minions, to the Super Hot Crew, but didn't catch them out there. Both these teams poking, both these teams low on hit points.
Tidal Wave is available again. So if Gambit continue to chase, it could set up a very good combination. Multi-man Tidal Wave into that last breath from Selfie. But look at the positioning. Super Hot Crew have got minions now working with them shortly, and they may be able to get this inhibitor turret.
Well, that's going to be Super Selfie. They catch out on the side there. He's got Guardian Angel, but he's going to get taken hits by the tower. He'll go down off the side there. Quick repel from Diamond. Genja's out of position. He's going to get focused on. He's got the Guardian Angel. The rest of his team needs to get around. Selfie goes down. Genja is safe for now, and Gambit get themselves a 1-on-0, and that's going to be the lot.
Yeah, very split up once again. Super Hot Crew just not on the same page. They managed to catch Genja, but the focus was obviously him. His GA was popped, and he's going to manage to defend this top lane tower. Very close. At the end of the day, Super Hot Crew once again coming up behind. Also, GA is down on Selfie, so he can't afford to get that aggressive sort of base play that he was doing a few minutes ago.
But Guardian Angel now built on Mimer. He's just picked that up. Of course, GA was also popped by Genja, we should point out. So, very tight fights between these. 14-9, of course, but you can see the gold. It is only a 2,000 differential between the teams, well, 3,000 technically, just shy of. Gambit, they're going straight for Baron this time around. Impaler is close by if you can try and get the steal.
Yeah, but they don't have the damage from Selfie, so this is going to be so risky for them to go in. Tidal Wave is not available for KaSing. Look at them, they're split once more. Mimer wants it, they got Genja!
Oh, they've caught him out, he's going to try and get away, but he's one more hit, he's going to get taken him down, but Mimer, the GA going to get popped, and the Super Hot Crew in a good position. Impaler's going to get taken down, the Baron doing damage on him. Mimer tries to leap away from this one. Diamond chasing on towards KaSing. A fantastic Aqua Prism from him once again, with the Cocoon this time around will seal his fate. And Eddie, he's trying to pursue on MrRalleZ. Where is Mimer going? He's going to back off.
So they end up trading 1 for 2, but very importantly, prevent the Baron. That was, even though a bad trade, it is beneficial for the Super Hot Crew by preventing that objective getting secured. MrRalleZ has even been able to delay the back of Gambit, so they may want to play a little bit of pressure in this mid lane. decide not to. GA popped from Mimer in that previous fight, even though he dove all the way in. And we are seeing the making of that Ardent Center for KaSing. So he's going to be getting the new support item that will obviously give his teammates attack speed whenever he heals them or gives them shields. So it'd be interesting to see how that plays out, considering how great Jax can scale with that attack speed once he gets it thrown on.
Meanwhile, Darien continues to stack out those hit points. The Warmogs, of course, now picked up as well. And looking towards the 7-1-8 of Nick, sorry. He continues to just grow that ability power. Is that going to be a DFG?
Oh, that's a teleport.
That's a teleport and cancelled by Mimer. So that one used the cooldown to its full extent, but nevertheless, that will be down for a moment. He's sticking towards that top lane problem. Selfie trying to distract them, but Genja is there to clear that wave.
Yeah, and the Super Hot crew once again split up. If they want a tidal wave engage, they're going in.
Or they flash on. That's going to be Nick going to have to flash away from this one. Can they close on towards Impaler? He may be the focus target, but instead Diamond's going to get caught out, repels away. Mimer taking a lot of damage. Eddie in trouble as well. Impaler will get focused down, but it's still not the damage. And honestly, Super Hot crew coming out better in these fights.
Definitely. They had a better position, and that time around, they encompassed Gambit. You've seen Genja was late to the party. He was defending that inhibitor turret, and because he got there late, it allowed Super Hot crew to put the damage down. It has also opened them up to Baron. There are members of Gambit nearby, and if Nick can throw himself into the pit, that's exactly where he wants to be, but it's gone too quick. The damage is too high. The Super Hot crew grabbed themselves their first Baron, and a little bit more control and presence in this game.
Gigantic wall of pain from Nick does slow them down, but that's simply delay tactics right now. Darien's going to get focused and jumped out there. Slice and Dice is out of the Aqua Prism, but you just saw how much damage Super Hot crew. That Baron, even at 42 minutes, went down in seconds.
Well, look at all of the damage sources that they've got. Multiple Blades of the Rune King, Infinity Edge completed on the side of Selfie.
Risky.
Gambit are going to melt this Baron. There's no tidal wave. Keep that in mind. Let's see for last breath.
They're trying to delay. Their minions, of course, taking the tower down. Meanwhile, at the side there, the culling being very good from Genja just off the side. They will get this dragon down. Super Hot crew, will they try and turn it towards that mid lane? Gambit still feeling confident.
Yeah, they are, because they do have very good positioning. In order for the Super Hot crew to engage, they needed that tidal wave, which they now have. They've got Mimer!
Death Sentence caught on towards Mimer. He leaps out once again. Another Aqua Prism going to try and throw it in there. Doesn't land this time around. We can see MrRalleZ poking on. Requiem goes off and does not take anyone down, but it does enough damage that it may make Super Hot crew back off.
It does look like it. Selfie was pushing the middle wave. There are minions in the bottom wave. It feels like this game is all over the place because Super Hot crew are continuing to try the split push game. They're continuing to try use these minion waves to their advantage, and it has worked and it has not worked at varying times. But Gambit, they still maintain a gold lead. They are still even on towers. The only problem is Gambit got stalled out when they were on the inhibitor turret, and now the shoe's on the other foot. Now it's Super Hot crew that are playing the aggressive game, and we need to see how effectively Gambit can defend, because Super Hot crew never want to go under a turret where there's a Karthus sitting there waiting to welcome you with Defile and his Death Defy passive.
It's a dangerous game to play. So the back turret, the top one, did go down. That was about it for the Gambit. Of course, in that play, they got the dragon as well. Secured themselves that. Repel. Ooh, I tell you what, he's caught out here, Diamond. He's got nowhere to run. The Aqua Prism comes back in. He's going to go down. Oh, the Lantern wants the game from Eddie. How nobody managed to step and close that one out, I don't know. Selfie's being very aggressive. Look how much damage he's putting down onto Darien. Darien pops his Dominus there. Not sure on that ultimate usage. And the Super Hot crew is starting to catch Gambit out of position. Diamond, he's got nowhere to run here. He's going to get caught out. He repels. Elizabeth Eddie's there with a Lantern again. And now Impaler gets hooked in. And that is a death for Nick. And now Mimer leaps away. It's a 4v5. Gambit chasing.
Overconfidence from Impaler not going to work in his favor. The team does get the tower, though. You did also see their tidal wave just catching onto Diamond at the edge of your screen, but it wasn't enough to kill him. Decent wind wall, not sure it was necessarily needed. Better safe than sorry. Selfie, of course, does have his GA proc back and available, as does Mimer, rather, in a moment or two. So these team fights are going to continue to be messy. They're going to continue to be drawn out. And what they've boiled down to for both of these teams is whoever's been able to surround their opponents has come out in the better position. And with Nami giving your teammates movement speed for spells that affect him with, and now attack speed thanks to that Ardent Sensor, if he gets Mimer and Impaler to engage effectively, that could be a very, very strong start to team fights.
Well, once again, with that wave down, they're going to push in, try and get some hits on towards that tower, but you can see it's back to full hit points. It's been so long since Gambit were back down here. Death Sentence is not going to land, and that puts the end to that. There's a big wave in the bottom lane that they could do with trying to keep alive, but you can see SUPA Hot Crew, they're ahead of them. They already know what's going on here. They're going to cut them off in the jungle.
Yeah, no knockups from SUPA Hot Crew means there's no Yasuo engage. Mimer, he wants Darien.
Oh, he jumps in there. Counter-strike not quite landing, and Darien had taken all the damage. Red buff hooked in. Eddie, I thought he caught somebody else out, but instead it was the red, and that may be a problem because Impaler slides in. Cataclysm on everyone. Yasuo doing all of the damage, and Gambit had just been dropped left, right, and center as Selfie goes in. The Guardian Angel pop. Mimer gets himself a kill. Back in there. The Guardian Angels all come back up. Genja gets jumps on Mimer, takes him down. His GA goes down. Diamond is the only man standing just off the side. Eddie's making a run for it. Then KaSing, you've got to be careful. This is a tricky, tricky spider you're chasing. He may turn back on towards you. This is exactly what he's going to do, but it doesn't matter because Mimer's there alongside MrRalleZ.
2 for 4, and all of that thanks to a very, very good ultimate from Selfie. Pay very careful attention to just how tightly knit the Gambit team are, and the Cataclysm locks everybody from Gambit in. So that's a Darien as well as Genja, I believe, knockup from Last Breath on Selfie. And just because of the fact that every multi-man ultimate and knockup that needed to land did connect from SUPA Hot Crew. Because Nick is so fed, his Requiem does melt everyone, but it's too late. There was not enough damage. Genja was already dropped. Darien was already dropped. And that was just a very good fight. The results 4 for 1, 4 for 2 rather, as well as an inhibitor.
So Inhib goes down in that mid lane, and SUPA Hot Crew back off. Gambit all respawn. Dragon and Baron all up inside 2 minutes time. And this time around, Gambit really have to think long and hard about the next fight they take, because it may well be their last. The SUPA Hot Crew come out ahead once again.
Just in terms of the compositions, Gambit's power spike ended 20 minutes ago. They were on the steps of the SUPA Hot Crew's inhibitor, but they couldn't force SUPA Hot Crew's hand. They couldn't pull him far enough back to actually get the objectives they were looking for. And you have to give props to the SUPA Hot Crew, because the whole time Gambit was in their face, and the whole time Gambit was pushing them, they were pushing the side lanes. They had Selfie bottom, they had Mimer top, and it did force Gambit's hands. It did force Gambit back. I mean, Darien, he teleported to the bottom inhibitor turret just to, you know, out of the threat of Mimer pushing it. So all props to SUPA Hot Crew for delaying this game. They've got super minions in the middle lane, and they've been playing split push. I think they can keep doing the same to get the top and bottom lanes in their favor.
Shoving the wave back in again. Mimer off the side. Gonna maybe try and force him to teleport back in. They've got a long wait for their minions themselves, so in which case, I think Mimer may have enough time to just run back, which is exactly what he is doing.
Now, I do think there's more pressure on Mimer as this game goes on, because you can see that there's a Thornmail picked up for Diamond. There's a lot of armor on Edward, which means Selfie and MrRalleZ and Impaler, their effectiveness will be diminished somewhat. We've also seen MrRalleZ go for Berserker's Greaves on Corki. It wasn't uncommon to see Corkis go Sorcerer's Shoes not all that long ago, but they need to obviously get through all of that armor. Impaler's gone super deep.
Oh, and Selfie used his ultimate Last Breath on towards Darien. I'm not sure that's the right target. Nick comes in, gets himself involved. Selfie's going to get taken down already. Impaler's low just off the side. Impaler goes down. It's a double now. Genja's getting focused on by Mimer. Mimer's just going to jump away from this one. Oh, and Genja takes him down. What the hell are SUPA Hot Crew doing? I have no idea. They just dive on the tankiest member of Gambit and almost threw this game away.
I think they may have thrown the game. There is still a minute on all of their death timers. Gambit are moving to this middle lane. Darien has got a massive amount of HP to work with and a handful of minions. MrRalleZ has to pull off a godlike defense if he's going to defend this. How brave are Gambit? That's a flash hook. It doesn't connect. I wonder if they're going to go for Nexus turrets. If I were Gambit, that's what I would do.
Absolutely. They're just going to pile on through here. That's going to be the inhibitor going down. And MrRalleZ, as you mentioned, has got 30 seconds to hold on here. Minions coming in. They've got the tank minion with them as well, and Gambit 5-man defense will just push on towards this on their peel off. They go for MrRalleZ. They hook him down. MrRalleZ goes down.
They've done
it's going to be a kill. The Nexus turrets are going to fall down, and Gambit, just like that, as I was saying, SUPA Hot Crew were in the driving seat. Gambit had to be careful. They close out the game and win inside 50 minutes. Gambit take down the SUPA Hot Crew.
The SUPA Hot Crew gave Gambit that victory. I have no idea why they would engage there, why they would chase so far with super minions.
Absolute chaotic scenes, and decisions like that, you've got to wonder. It's the pressure of the play, and of course we are in the summer right now. This is the battle, this is the road to the World Championships. Gambit fighting tooth and nail to get themselves into the playoffs, and with performances like that, they may just be able to do it.
I have to question it. I mean, Gambit, they had a very good early game. They had a pretty solid mid game. Once again, their composition didn't allow them to get through those inhibitor turrets, but they held out. They were scrappy. And you could feel the pressure every single time those team fights were happening. They were sloppy. They were chaotic.
And it's crazy, the fact that SUPA crew basically won the last 4, 5 team fights.
Yep.
Why would they just dive in way ahead of their team as well? I mean, nobody was anywhere near that one. You could see the tidal wave, if it would have been there, would have called them out, but they just went so far ahead. Impaler just piling on in their Selfie onto the tank.
Yep.
And doing nothing to him.
It's
mind-boggling, ladies and gentlemen.
It really is.